Okay, welcome back, everyone. Let's get started. Looking at our work session agenda, are we on minutes out for the interview?
Yes, I don't see her on there yet.
Okay, do we want to wait? We can go to something else for William Kelly's here.
I can see if he's out front.
Let me check that.
Okay,
Yeah.
is the interview or is this? Max, this side?
Take my foot.
Yes. You may not be here. That's okay. Okay. We can always just do the whole business. Yep. Okay, so if that's the case, let's just go to old business, cityscape wireless plan, master plan, final draft. Did they do everything we asked them to?
Honestly, I got it last minute, for the New Year's. I didn't get to read through the whole thing. I sent it to you guys and that was as far as I got. Today I was playing catch up, that I got for a day. So I haven't got to go through it to the full extent that I want to. Be able to give you my full recommendation. But you guys have copies. So if you have any questions, things that you saw in there, am I gonna ask, what's her name?
Susan.
Susan, to try to get those addressed.
I could use another day or two to go through it with him. I could come, to be honest, also,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Do we want to discuss it again at the next meeting? then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, actually, that makes sense. Okay. That's it. Just, are you aware of what the cityscape engagement is?
Yes, from those couple of meetings, I know.
Okay, being here you are. Okay, so Cityscape is a consulting firm that we engaged about maybe 2 years ago. I think it was like in the fall of 2023. And it was to look at the gaps in wireless coverage, for personal use, like regular cell phone, but also for emergency use, like all the vehicles, police transponders, radios. There's a lot of dead spots in the borough, like the King James area, like those places, golf course, like the lower places. You can just like walk 10 feet and no service, you can't dial 911. Whereas if you walk another 20 feet, you might get a bar or two again. So the firm is supposed to go around, analyze the gaps, produce recommendations, and survey the residents, and the residents were surveyed. Frickle Park, what do you prefer? What do you not prefer? Naturally, as expected, large cell towers are not preferred. This is small micro towers all around. So they are finalizing the report with the recommendations for us. So there were some comments from previous council members and current ones. Fix a couple of things in the final report before getting it back to us, so we can finalize it. But just take a look, see if anything sticks out. But that's basically what that engagement is for. So the plan is to take that to, that's pretty much to like take it to a vendor and implement.
Do the members have access to the community survey? I think that would be useful for you guys to look at.
I can do it today.
Okay.
She was drawing.
Okay, so we're gonna pivot back to the first agenda item, to our EAC interview. We have an applicant who is joining us virtually. It is Katrina Kelly Kachu. Am I saying it right? I apologize. Welcome. Believe you're on mute.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
hi.
correct.
Okay, yeah, so welcome to Frick Park Borough Council. I'm Uday Pellet, I represent Ward 1, Council President. Go around real quick, so you know who we are.
Kathy Cromer, Borough Secretary.
Brian Malkin, Borough Council.
Laura Checkeye, Council. Kristen Pacific, Mayor.
Shadia Ligavelli, junior council person.
John Lee, council.
Curtis Neal, council.
And then Polly, council.
Zachary Files, mayor, or manager. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay, so thank you for applying to the EAC. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Sure, and thanks for letting me participate virtually. Normally I would have come in, but first day back to holidays, I have a 3-year-old who's struggling with his meltdowns after his first day back, and it's been a day. But my name is Katrina Kelly P2, as said. I live in Franklin Park. I'm over on Wexford Run Road, kind of close to Chenose, if all of you are familiar. And I kind of have two main jobs, I think, that would primarily relate to a lot of the activities that the council's participating in. I do tons of consulting work for planning commissions a lot of the time. And so I'm quite eager to honestly, excuse the bluntness, give away some free work to the community I live in to see it help sort of prosper to the most beautiful place it can be. It's been a joy living in Franklin Park the past few years. I lived abroad for a long time before that, then in the city of Pittsburgh for 4 years. But I started the local branch of Smith Group, which is an architectural and engineering firm. We're the oldest in the US and the worst at advertising. So you likely might not have heard of us, but we're 175 years old this year. So I started the Pittsburgh practice about 8 years ago now. There were two of us. There's now 45 of us. And the primary work that we do is architectural design. I run the engineering division here locally. So I'm familiar, heavily familiar with the environmental work. I'm also a professor of engineering, science, technology, and policy at CMU. And I used to be part of DCED's environmental task force. So long story short, I'm a bit of a nerd who's really dedicated to helping, the community I live in be the best place it can be for me and my family. Because as said, I have a 3-year-old and a husband and a dog. So we like to walk around and do things like that.
Okay, awesome. Do we have any questions from council?
Have you observed some EAC meetings or checked out what kind of work they're doing?
I have, and I was really excited to see a lot of the work that's been being done here, especially the stormwater stuff that had happened. I mean, there's a lot of conservation work that's been taking place too. Seeing the interactions with the Bradford Wood Conservancy is really cool. So I'm excited to see a lot of the work that's taken place. There's some ideas on how to add on to some of that with, I've also been seeing some of the contention on some of the discussions and trails and stuff in regards to things that are happening. So some of it I know is kind of balancing act between what landowners want to do and what the municipality can benefit from and kind of solving problems in that interim. And I think that's where my passion lies a little bit. Connected communities specifically are where I really work a lot in.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone?
So when they meet, because you've at least seen some of the meetings, they're meeting regularly monthly, right? And I think they meet virtually still, is that right? Sound right? Yeah, so timing wise, is that gonna work out for your schedule from what you can see?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I live locally, so it's easier than me than having to travel to California or anything like that. So happy to do it. I thought there'd be a bit more snow, honestly, tonight, but judge the weather wrong. Climate always gets you. But yeah, no problem at all.
Okay. All right.
Good question. On your resume, you talk about translating complex technical modeling outputs into policy relevant insights for municipal leaders. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah, give me a second to make sure I don't do that in a long-winded discussion. I think a lot of what my passion for work is bridging the gap between policy needs and honestly what engineering solutions look like. I find a lot of times there's kind of, if you leave it to, no offense to any civil engineers or people who might be practicing in the room especially, but if you kind of let the technical jargon take place where it's like, oh, we have to plan for this flooding event and da-da-da, and we need this stormwater upgrade and pipe sizes are 3.5, but we need them to be 2.5. Who cares? Right? What we have to do is talk about like, hey, if you don't want your basement to be impacted by this, and we actually want to make sure, that your property retains its value, etc. Therefore, we can upgrade this pipe. And if we do so, we can also have nice trail access on top of it, kind of bridging the gap between what community needs are and then with the planning reality that goes alongside them, I think is a really interesting piece of work. And specifically, where my team is a bit different, I think, than normal even planning teams professionally, and where my personal passion has lied is we're in a bit of a shift where engineering and planning has really been divorced. I think historically, planning was really run by landscape architects and architects quite a lot of legal authorities, which are super important. But I think now there's kind of a need, especially for the environmental vulnerabilities that exist, particularly in the needs of flooding in our communities now and a lot of ecological assessments, to really make sure that we're having like an integrated viewpoint of what engineering needs tend to be, what our infrastructure needs tend to be, and making sure, honestly, we don't rip things up 10,000 times. If you have a little bit of a go and think, what does this utility replacement look like? What does this piping replacement look like? And by the way, what can the ground look like on top of that? All with one streamline of thought, you can save people a lot of money and a lot of time on projects. So the complexity, I think, tends to be telling civils what electrical means, what electricals, what landscape architects can do on top of that, making the boring practical and making the practical pretty, are really what I like to work in.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions? Do you have any questions for us?
I think just really what your aspirations are for, I'm curious to hear as much as you can, I guess, legally say without someone voted into your special room right now. And granted, there's many more of you there, so apologies, I couldn't hear everyone quite coherently. But do you see any of the biggest vulnerabilities on the EAC that need attacked specifically that you're looking forward to hitting in 2026?
I'll speak at once. I can say from my perspective, I live in Ward 1, which is like the western part. There's a lot of natural space. So what is the best method or easy avenue of protecting green space? Not just buying random land and holding it, but what is like true green space usability. Trails are important, parks, and doesn't have to be fancy. It could be unpaved trails, natural.
Yeah.
Tree, natural trees. I get a lot of questions about what is a tree to provide here. What is like non-invasive, those kind of things. I know that information is on like various sites, but those are some things that I hear from my constituents and that I'm interested in. So I'm not sure if others want to weigh in. Oh, and reviewing our ordinances, we have a lot of ordinances. If there's something that sticks out, like buffer zones, erosion stuff.
Oh, green infrastructure. We could
Yep.
hang out for days on bioswales and things like biodiversity. I try to talk my neighbors into, I have the creek in my backyard. So I've been trying to talk my whole neighborhood into creating a natural trail alongside it together. Slowly but surely, we might get there. But literally being able to work with the council is something that honestly motivated. I was like, this is a bigger picture discussion. I can't motivate this many people by myself. So I really hear you on that. There's so much potential, especially with the stormwater work, to do those natural trails. Like, oh, it could be amazing. But there's really great work done with the conservation. So I'm all about blowing up the concept of green space and natural capital, as I call it. I think that sounds exciting.
Okay, awesome.
Am
Anyone?
I allowed to officially second you on
Go for it.
ordinances?
Absolutely. Yep, so Trina Letty is our co-chair of DAC, who's also in the room behind you. But yeah, so do you have anything else you want to convey to us, or any other questions? Have anybody else in the room? Okay, if not, thank you so much. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And apologies for talking so much. I look forward to in person
Yeah.
listening more.
Totally
So
good.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's entirely too easy to go down that rabbit hole of jargon. Yeah, if you have two different people using two different sets of jargon.
Talking across instead of,
Okay, so we got our first applicant, he is our. Probably, yeah, sure. Okay. Pleasure. Welcome to council. Hey, welcome to council, special on the ACs, I'm not sure if you know everyone or not, but I'm gonna probably. Council Ward 1.
Secretary.
Ryan Mao in council.
Laura Check, I council. Kristen Fiffick, mayor.
Shania Lugavere, junior council person.
John Lee, council.
Curtis Neal, council.
And the political council member.
South Tahoe, Manager.
Awesome, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sheriff. I'm a long-term resident in Franklin Park. I moved here in 1977 with my wife. Got no children. We live on Reese Run Road. I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's in public health. I've worked all my life in environmental engineering and equipment sales and operations, almost all in water and wastewater, municipal water, industrial wastewater, sludges, industrial waste, residues, some drinking water. I've been retired since 2014, and I previously have served on the Environmental Advisory Council on the first one that they had. And now that I'm retired, I have more time on my hands, and I would like to help if I can.
Cool. Yeah, so you're pretty aware of how it operates, when it meets and everything, so got full background, don't wanna.
It's been a long time though.
I think it's like the first Mondays of the month, on a meeting right now, we speak, right? Okay. Virtually, yeah, is there a specific, from your perspective, anything was solved in Fairfield Park from the perspective that you think of?
I don't think so. I'm not aware of what the council has been working on lately and what issues there are or what the planning commission or the borough council would have in interest. I'm willing to help and able to do whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, there's some of the big issues, environmental and stormwater. There are a lot of questions about trees, invasive, native, what's gonna survive, what's not gonna survive. Protection, buffer zones, no, of course, so. Erosion, another one, so, a lot of questions, very good. Okay, we have any questions for council or anyone?
Yeah, I see from your materials that you've had a lot of community involvement. What's drawing you back to the EAC now?
What did you say?
What's drawing you back to EAC now as opposed to other places you could spend
I
your
would
time?
say it's the time in retirement that, I retired in 2014. I have spent a lot of the time with my wife and her father who died last year. And, since that time, I've been looking for things to do that I've been interested in applying in the past, but never really bothered to do it. But now that there were 3 openings, I thought there would be more chance for me to get in.
What did you, question, when you said in your materials that you encouraged the formation of the EAC, what did you envision at that time?
At that time, several of us were involved with the borough when it was beginning municipal recycling. And there was, I don't remember whether it came from the borough or it came from the citizens, but there was an interest. The borough asked if citizens would be interested in helping the implementation, and a small group of us did. We started a volunteer recycling program at the old borough building. We collected regular recyclables in the building for a very short while. And then when the borough was going to do the recycling, we provided some advice on the type of containers we would use. And once municipal recycling started, there was not much demand for paper. And so we started a volunteer recycling program at the borough building once a month. And that went on for probably 2 years until the market picked up enough for the commercial recyclers to get into it. But in our contact with Jerry Reichert, who was the borough manager at the time, we talked about environmental advisory councils. We knew it was something that was relatively new to the state, and some of the other North Hills communities had them, particularly Fox Chapel. And when we mentioned that to Jerry, he not only was interested in the idea, but he said he had thought about the same thing himself. So it was sort of a joint program to propose it to the council and the council to approve.
How do you feel about the current state of recycling in the borough?
I think it could be better, but we're at the mercy of the commercial recyclers. That what they have improved things. They've added additional numbered plastics that they can handle, but they've also pushed glass off to the side so that it's not a problem for them, but it's for some other people too. There are things that could be recycled, but not. Maybe they cost more than they're worth at the time, so the commercial recyclers aren't interested. I also think that when they got into it, a lot of the environmental groups were interested in source separation, but the big recyclers, I think, maybe to maintain a stronger position for themselves. They wanted to combine things and have it separated in a new facility that they would build. So only the ones with the economic resources could capture the market by having those big facilities. And so what we end up with what we have now.
Yeah, I know the glass bit behind us, it's, glad to have it. But, yeah, I mean, I know we can put glass in recycling now, but it's, I understand it's a Borough actually gets a little more, we have separate glass. Yeah, it's kind of a long way. Awesome, do you have any other questions? Do you have any other questions for us? Okay, well, yeah, thanks for coming out.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Congratulations to all the new elected people too.
Give you a minute, just, or our two,
We have two candidates for 3 vacancies.
yeah, so these two candidates, they have 3 vacancies.
Yeah.
They seem like a very,
I think they're really well
Passionate.
qualified and passionate, yeah,
that's what you need.
yeah.
Trina's energy in particular, it was evident even just on their college, and very motivated, very excited. Since she's gonna look for that.
Are we good putting them up for? Yeah, what is it, the next at the regular meeting? Yeah, yes.
January 21st.
I think we're lucky to have them, so really, that's really amazing.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, on a new business, Max, anything to be cognizant of?
Well, we just basically doubled the size of the regular meeting agenda, the addition of the 2 appointments or so, but no, we in your packets, the work sessions, we typically review the tentative agenda, we'll go over items, answer any questions. But as you'll see, as the month goes on, we don't finalize the agenda until 24 hours before the regular meeting. So that's when it is posted, made official on the web page. Kathy will often highlight if there are additions. So just for instance, the next time you see this document, it will have the 2 appointments, tacked on to the bottom, there's motions 10 and 11. And anything else that comes up throughout this meeting and the next couple of weeks. We have a number of, I don't know if they're historical actions that were on the agenda. As I said before in the pre-meeting, there was no requirement to have an agenda at all under the Borough Code or any other municipal codes until recently with the Sunshine Act amendment. But as good governments, always usually had one to keep everybody on task and for the purpose of getting public comment so that you don't have to stop each time you make a motion because you don't have an agenda and get public comment and go through. So Borough has had, a form of an agenda basically in this format since incorporation, we'll call it, or so, or at least since Kathy's been around. And there were a couple of provisions that about this time last year, Kathy reached out and sort of asked, why do we, file the police report with the police secretary? And why do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report when, we don't really see it through stuff? And there are a couple other ones, why we have Post Gazette being appointed as the official newspaper at the reorg meeting and anything of that nature. So we took the year, it was one of those sort of, kind of so, oh, we don't need the answer right now. So of course, I think it was like November, we came around and we had some associates or newer attorneys or dig in Borough Code, look around, are there best practices that maybe we should change? And one of them is we no longer have a motion to accept the treasurer's report because there were instances of cases of public bodies voting on a treasurer's report when you have a treasurer, when you have a financial person who's doing all of this. And then if there is something wrong with it, so the borough is on the hook. as well. So we recommended and discussing with Zach and with Kathy, we've taken that off. So we'll just get the treasurer's report from Reach, but we don't have a motion to accept it. And like we have the police report, we used to have, and it was Dick Hartman's, like, it was his saying for years and years. He would just, that was like the one, well, it wasn't even a motion because it was just a recommendation. It was something that had appeared on agendas, didn't really have any. So streamlined it, taken that out. We kept some things like the appointment for the Post Gazette, which is not required, but it is a best practice to let the public know if they are looking for legal notices, where to look. One thing you'll learn from Local Government Academy, ALOM, and from our meetings, that print industry is shrinking. We have a requirement that we have to advertise in a newspaper of general circulation, which means they charge and they have a printed version at least once a week. So Tribune Review went to all digital several years ago. You can't do the penny saver because they don't charge anything. Post Gazette has gone down to Thursdays and Sundays now. The price has gone up. So really legal advertising for public meetings is one thing keeping the print media, in business. They have resisted any attempts by the legislature to rein that in or otherwise change it. So we make that announcement to point people to the Post Gazette. But that's another consideration. We have a lot of timelines, both in terms of advertising, public hearings, land use applications, but also just ordinances, that it is becoming a problem. It gets very expensive if you miss the Local North edition. They're a week out now to get something into the newspaper. So it is a chronic issue. But we do have that motion to appoint Post Gazette as our designated newspaper. With respect to the rest of the agendas, we would often have preliminary matters that we take care of before public comment and any votes. So we'll have a new police officer being introduced and sworn in. Went through the civil service process starting almost a year ago or so when that kicked off, and was selected from the eligibility list last meeting. So this will be the final part. As part of civil service requirements, they are given conditional offers of approval. They have to then pass a psychological and a physical exam. There are issues with ADA and accommodations that is to be addressed there. So that is why it's somewhat staggered. And the officer will be in a probationary period under the. So we'll meet Officer Zappi through there, our standard public comments, just like we had the opportunity for tonight, but not actual public comments twice. As you'll see, we have the minutes that are in that first motion. Another trick of the trade. A lot of people say, well, I wasn't at that meeting. I can't vote or make the motion on the minutes. You can. You are attesting to your faith in the secretary's capacity to accurately depict the actions that were taken. So if you do miss a meeting, you do not need to abstain or announce it or say you don't have to do it. For our members who were not members December 17th or so, you are not prohibited from making the motion, seconding the motion, or voting. Thank you. Robert's rules for this. In terms of announcement of executive session, it says as necessary because we do have some items to discuss at the end of this meeting. We will announce those on January 21st. You'll see essentially a paragraph that the president of council reads to make that announcement and make sure we are covered under the sunshine. With respect to the business, we always have the approval of the payment of the bills. Which will be included in your electronic meeting packets. I'm sure you've discussed in terms of distribution, you've seen it. People have access to the SharePoint. I don't know, that's where I get my meeting. You still do that?
Yeah, for that. The bills just go to president, vice president, second vice president.
They're somewhere in there.
Yes.
You'll find certain bills though, because I know our bills
Second.
Or it's just
President.
That's one plus one.
The ones that are signed.
Sorry.
Other invoices are included in the meeting pack, so you'll see our bills are in there and others are, no? That bar, you gotta look at the end.
Yours are in there.
Yeah,
Your monthly invoices are in there, it's just sometimes we don't get them
yes,
in
into,
time, so sometimes we have 2 months worth of bills in one packet. But you know, we've never had the engineering bills. We provide the job statements, that's been.
yeah, you get the delinquent tax collectors business.
Oh,
That's what-
yeah.
But using the reference to our bills, just for a segue for that electronic packet, you'll see at the top. And we have marked some items as confidential, as attorney-client privilege, personnel matters or so. We do have a redacted version that goes out to junior council members and some others. But by and large, you know, the presumption is this is material that is being reviewed by you as a council member. Is a public record conceivably if somebody would ask for it through the right to know law. But we would do a review and pull and do essentially the redactions that we do right now. So we just want to, you know, emphasize both for the meeting packet and sensitive material that's included in that, mixed in with everything else that's, you know, not sensitive. It's probably like a draft, an ordinance being passed, the agendas, things like that. I just need to be cognizant of that. So there is a disclaimer at the top of every electronic packet. Please do not distribute either accidentally or on purpose these packets. That you're going through. Another sort of comment along those lines. I mean, these are borough computers, they're borough property. You got family, you got kids, you got all that going on. Oftentimes, if you do need to, you know, participate in a meeting electronically, and we do have an executive session, we do ask that you go to a private place, that you don't do it in the living room or something like that, where people are walking back and forth, and certainly not in a restaurant or somewhere else. Surprised, they did have one teacher who likes to do them in class, public class. So we got that. In terms of the other items, you can see here, motions 3 and 4 have to do with subdivision applications. You'll learn the nomenclature. These ones have the SS. So they are minor subdivisions or simple subdivisions. They don't go to the planning commission for review and recommendations. They go to the borough engineer and staff. Typically, it's lot line changes or you know, a division of just one lot into two and not a massive residential subdivision, multiple lots. So we've got 2 of those this month. We will talk a little bit later about some of the designees and alternates that are selected from members of council. And then we've got our first payment to the library. That was all so far on the meeting agenda. Last comment on that. And Zach is Zach and Kathy, masters of, you know, the draft agendas as things are going on. President of council has insight as well. These meetings are the time for other council members to bring ideas up or, you know, something they want to be considered, potentially added to the agenda. Because under the Sunshine Act, that prohibition and needing to have it done, you know, is really, although we have that process where you can have a motion to amend the stated agenda and add something on. It was sort of something the legislature didn't think of. Well, how is an agenda put together? And it was typically staff and maybe president of council and could potentially keep, you know, members that are not the president or otherwise from getting things added to the agenda if it is appropriate. So these meetings, work sessions are the time to discuss those and determine if a motion needs to be added. Usually it's by consensus around the table as to whether or not something will be added. We do take some actions just by consensus and by direction at the table in the work session and don't necessarily have a motion on the agenda because it's more administrative, but we do look for direction from council as to sending a letter. You know, we'll have plenty of those as they come up. Sometimes it's time dependent, sometimes it is not. necessary for a motion.
The motion 5, 6, and 7, which both council members, right? So,
Well, you got it later on.
we're talking about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Whoa,
Yeah, but proceeding.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Max, for that.
Sure.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. All right, reports from staff, engineer, and solicitor. That's the first.
You have my written report that is attorney-client privilege and work product at the very top, as you'll see. But I did want to just mention there, we did discuss the last meeting, Hartman Farms plan has a long history going back to, I think, approval in 2014 or so. But we, as a result of litigation, are holding seized funds from the developer. Discussion of returning most of those funds to the homeowners association to do some repairs and things of that nature that were not done by the developer. The borough is keeping approximately $4,000 that were related to inspection fees and things that the developer should have paid for under escrow, but they overdrew it. And so we're talking about brainstorming and putting together some form of an agreement. The very first draft is there. I would like the opportunity to talk with Tim once he's back, just because he is the guru of all things development. And so this went through a couple of drafts. The first one that Alex in our office did was more of a memorandum of understanding, just sort of setting things out. When I dug into it a little bit more and found there was a recorded stormwater agreement, decided to somewhat convert it, into the standard operation and maintenance agreements that we signed with developers and property owners for stormwater improvements. But this one was an amalgamation of a settlement of those funds, adoption of the stormwater facilities that were dedicated by the developer in the recorded plan, and an operation and maintenance agreement where the borough would be undertaking more of those obligations than typically it's a private property owner doing so. So somewhat Frankenstein together a couple of other concepts, so not necessarily ready for prime time just yet. We haven't reviewed it with Lemon Smith, but did want to include it in the meeting agenda as at least the direction we're headed following the discussion most recent.
A quick note on that, Max.
Yeah.
The agreement refers to 2 stormwater detention facilities. There are technically 3 ponds, but I don't know if 2 are counted as one facility.
Well, that's another one that we bring Tim in for, because at least on the recording plan, it's just 2 areas
Okay,
that are
so
there.
it's not
So we
the
would
pond
need to,
themselves, it's the
yeah.
area.
I don't. The first draft talked about ponds and specifically said 2 ponds. I like the terms facilities because that's a little more broad for it, but we'll definitely address that. And we'll need Gary as well in terms of access down there and what needs to be done. One thing we did find was what the developer recorded in terms of their operation and maintenance obligations that has, the schedule which they were going to inspect the facilities, the ponds and things of that nature that we need to see how they fit with our standard process. It seemed a little more than really done in other locations.
Anything else? Another question? Anybody? Reach?
Okay, first, beginning of February, I will begin having a rate report again, like prior treasurer's had for council review. Did want to let you know that we completed the liquid fuels audit today for the years 2023 and 2024. And we were told that they had no findings, everything looked good. And some point in the next month or so, they'll be getting the formal letter out to us stating that is the case. Liquid fuels, we get a portion of the tax on gasoline, basically, that we can use to pay for maintenance we do of our roads, which includes paving, includes, clearing snow and salting. And we use liquid fuels, funds mainly for, purchasing salt and for our, public works time to, clear the roads. And also for our mechanics time to, work on the public works vehicles and equipment that are used for our roads. And we get, something on the order of about $500,000 a year for that. So. We're also, beginning the, annual financial audit. I believe the auditors will be here in 2 weeks to begin that work. Busy time for us. We're also getting, our payroll and benefits up and running for the new year. Kathy's working with Deanna quite a bit on that, and, that's about all I have right now.
Any questions?
I'd just like to mention to the new mayor and the two new council member, my name is Gary Buchanan. I'm the public works superintendent. I don't have a written report in here. This month I've been off with a knee operation. I'll start having reports back in February, the next work session. Just to give you an idea on some of the stuff that we were doing. Our guys were involved into stormwater project over on Bellwood Drive. They got probably 3/4 of that complete. We've been working on trucks, equipment, signs, a lot of signs knocked down from the snow and plowing in different areas and stuff like that. So salting the roads, this has probably been one of the hardest Decembers that I've seen for years on the amount of salt that we've been putting down. So we probably already went through 1,800 tons of salt. So that's a good bit of salt. And you know, you figure that out, it's $88 a ton, $86 a ton. So it's a good number there. So hoping to get some better weather here, maybe calm things down for the next 2 months. It's hard to tell. Sometimes you think you get a heavy season, it's going to be pretty costly, and sometimes it'll settle down. But then again, too, is probably on our better seasons or heavier seasons, we probably put down probably 4,500 to 5,000 tons of salt. So we're probably on projected to probably hit that probably this year if things continue to keep going the way they are. So another thing we're doing is picking up Christmas trees. We do the recycling on the Christmas trees. There's just many projects we have. Weather permitting, probably in the next week here, as long as it's not raining and stuff, we could possibly be into working in basins, working on projects, getting ready for the spring when we get our paving program going. So that's just kind of giving you just a little bit of an update on what we've been doing. And like I said, I'll have a written report on February.
Any questions for Gary? Yeah, hope your knee's feeling better, and thanks for your.
Yeah, it's doing good.
Well, it's getting warmer, so.
Yeah.
So,
You have my written report, and then, so we're just wrapping up all the end of the year events, that we had going on. And then today actually opened summer camp registration already. So, good first day from the way the numbers looked, a little bit ahead of where we were last year, which is good. People are responding, getting everything in early. We also have other programming starting up. We put in new camps this year for over spring break, both eco camps and sports camps. And then we also have specialty days coming up, Martin Luther King Day, as well as there's a random day off in March as well. So we're pushing all that programming out right now, and then we will start planning. We also did all the new fee schedules for our rentals, and then we will start looking at Easter already coming up at the end of this month for our recreation meeting. That's all I have.
any questions?
You have my report. It's winter, it's late. Not much happening at the golf course at the moment. Jim was off most of December. I was off all partial of the month, so it was pretty quiet over there other than the sled riders. And then the parks, other than the snow with the guys and been inside tearing apart the mowers, getting them ready. And once we get some better weather, maybe later this week, probably next week, we get back on field 4, finish that retaining wall, trying to get that field done so they can settle for spring soil wise, to get that field leveled off so we can get the fencing back up in time for April for, fall season. So. Any questions? You have our engineer's report. Only thing I'll add to it is we did issue the recommendation, final payment of the roof project over at Blueberry Hill. So that project has been completed, but again, winter, so a little slower time before construction season starts up. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Okay. Chief?
Congratulations to two members of council and the mayor. Look forward to working with you. You have a copy of my report. More than happy to answer any questions.
How do people know about the drone program and to donate?
A gentleman actually called and wanted to just make a donation and didn't have an idea what he wanted to donate for and just asked kind of what programs we have. And I mentioned the drone program to him and he was on board with that. So, yeah.
Now, Chief, is that something where you need, additional X number of dollars of funds per year to maintain that going? Will you need additional donations, things like that?
So eventually it will need replaced or repaired, or if anything breaks on it as time goes on, but no, it's sustainable at this point. The purchasing of it, getting the officers licensed, that was primarily the cost and training, which we'll do here in the spring, but yeah, so far sustainable. Maybe in about 5 years, hopefully another donor comes along and we can buy a new one.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, on to manager. What's that?
Yeah, you guys have my report. For the new guys, I'll go over a little bit of the stormwater stuff that we have going on coming up. Montgomery Road, we have a grant through the county to redo the pension pond. It's some piping there. I got delayed this fall. They're going on in the spring. Bellwood Drive, Gary discussed where our public works guys were able to add some infrastructure to get drainage out of people's backyards and prevent flooding. Both Bear Run and Fish Run are MS4 projects that we are pursuing for stream restoration. Fish Run, we finally got access to around 12 acres of land that a developer deeded to us. It's going to allow us to move forward with that project. Bear Run, we were going through the eminent domain process, and it looks like we're going to be settling with the property owner to be able to start that work as well once all of our permits are issued. So stormwater is a big issue for the municipality and something we're kind of going at pretty hard right now. Two major topics for me today. The Blueberry Hill Accessible Playground. We received a grant from the county for $205,000 to replace some 1990s equipment in the Blueberry patch. Originally, that grant was less than we had asked for, so we were going to have to do some hard searching for additional funds to make that happen. Last month, we had a small blessing where we had a tap-in fee that we didn't anticipate for infrastructure we installed in the early 2000s, and we retained $183,000 from the Fish Run line for all the Deerfield project. My request to council is to use that money as part of this project to execute this year. For my talks with the county, they want to kind of execute these quick. And so the original grant had us putting up $100,000 of our own money, and then 375 from the county. If we use this unexpected one-time money for tap-in fees, our expense to the municipality would be 85,000 instead of 100. It's a problem area. We've been kind of kicking it down the road for a lot of years, and I'm looking for approval to make this happen this year.
There's nothing else that you think is more pressing that $183,000 would go for?
I mean, we've kicked this down the road for all of your time, correct? So that's what, 6-7 years now? 8, my apologies. The equipment's from the 1990s. We've had to fabricate stuff because it doesn't exist anymore. It's a safety hazard. And I think this is with the $205,000 kind of be on the line what they want to spend this year. I think this is the remnant.
So county match, right? You said 375K.
So for the whole project, it's 474,000. We requested 374,000 from the county, with us have a $100,000 match. They awarded us 205, so it was less than we had requested. But like we kind of talked about, there's this one-time tap-in fee that we got that we didn't anticipate for, we didn't budget for, not in our plans for next year. We put it into our capital reserve, and I think its best use would be to execute on this grant, and make an improvement in our community, for not only accessibility, but for safety.
Point being, if we don't do the match, we lose the grant, and we're done.
I can try to request an extension,
Yeah,
but
they
it'll
won't.
be 6 months at most.
Yeah,
And so, I can't guarantee I'll get other funding,
Yeah.
from any grants, because of, the money we already have.
and the project's already laid out for the blueberry patch, the design, everything, and
Yep.
materials, and I think we should do
You
It's a
already
whole-
started now, or you need to start, so.
No, I mean, I still don't even have the full agreement to execute it yet,
it.
with the county, that we're still doing their environmental review, but, is my recommendation to move forward with this.
What do you guys think?
So if my understanding is correct, and, we have some funding that, and, we kind of didn't expect, so we can use that one. And we also need more, like 85, right?
Yes,
Something like-
$85,970.
Okay.
So when we originally wrote the grant, we were gonna put up $100,000 of our own money anyways, right? And so, if we use that tap-in fee to offset what we didn't get from the grant, then we would have to only come up with $85,000 of our own money.
And was that budgeted? The
So we,
shortfall was budgeted.
when we budgeted, yes, we were only gonna do this project, so we were grant funded. Obviously, we didn't get all the grant that we wanted to, but, we had this one-time unexpected funds come in. It looked like we can make this be possible, right? And with us not having any major projects this year because of our budget situation, I think it kind of makes sense to have one advance.
So let me check my math. We budgeted to have to put 100,000 into the pot.
Yeah.
Now we have to put 85, so we're ahead of 15,000.
Yeah, I mean, the $183,000 is our money. We can do anything we want with it, right? But if we're gonna attach it to this project, then yes, we would be saving some funds.
There's 15,000 left over.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so the cost then will be still the same, right?
yeah,
For-
four
for-
seventy-four, yeah, $474,000.
Even like we decide to do it like a few months and later, right?
Yeah, so I mean, the goal is to have it executed by the end of the year, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think materials are gonna go up, labor's gonna go up.
Yeah, so the faster we have a real answer, once I have the agreement executed, then we can go to the contractor and let them know, sign the agreements, to get this stuff ordered, and then kind of schedule out from there.
The county matching funds are for this year only, not it?
Yes, so in our original application, it was to be constructed this year, and they would like us to do so.
So there's no guarantee it could be deferred for a future year.
No, there's no guarantee.
So there's matching money, there's like 210K that we might lose out on.
If we have to do it, then probably it's a little bit better to do it earlier because the cost will go up and of the next year. So if I would say that probably go ahead.
As a post-mortem analysis, do we know why they posed this on the rest of the money, or is that normal that you ask for more than you get?
It depends, like a lot of grants, I'm gonna talk about another one where we asked for 400,000, they gave us 50. It's one of those situations where they only have so much money and they dictate what's important and they divide it up how they see fit. And so it's one of those things where, in an ideal world, I prefer where they just don't give me little chunks and I either fund the whole thing or we don't get it that year, that's okay, right? But that's not really how it works, especially when we have representatives that are really good, they really push for us, but make sure we get something, right? And so then it's our responsibility, which is why I really was pushing for having a well-funded capital reserve, is that when you get these small chunks, right, you're not always gonna get the 100% that you want. But you need to have funds available to execute on these projects, to take advantage of these grant opportunities.
So just to make sure I follow, so this would be spending that entire time, it be.
Correct.
And then it would, depending on which pocket you're taking it out of, I guess, so to speak, that would put 15 grand that we wouldn't have spent, that's already about to back into capital reserves.
So We originally planned for our request for the grant was $374,000 with us putting $100,000 match, right? If we use the $183,000 for the tapping fee, the difference would be $85,000, right? So that's the difference, right? If we view the tap-in fee as a grant, because it's a one-time thing that we didn't expect and we got it and we can use that, we see fit, then yes, it would be 85,000 instead of 100,000, right? But if we view that money as it's our money to spend wherever we want, why attached to this, then, we still owe 270 or $260,000 to get this project done, which I don't have. And I don't anticipate having an answer by the end of the year on the grants that I'm gonna be writing.
Presumably that 15K could go to something else that maybe costs more than.
Well, it was to stay in our capital reserves.
Okay.
Right now that accounts at 300.
What's that?
Right now is that account at 300K? The capital reserve fund?
I don't remember. I haven't looked at it as of this
Okay.
year.
Do we know what we budgeted? Or predicted?
So I know we were supposed to be $300,000 over, of excess this year. In addition to the million that we're transferring over, so we're gonna be at like 1.3 million in a year for the capital reserve. So if we're taking 85,000 out of that, it'd be 1.2.
We okay moving forward with this? Yeah, it's a large match, so
Yeah.
it's,
I mean, it's very close to 50%.
Yeah.
If it was smaller,
And turning it away can have negative effects down the road.
We received an Act 13 Greenway Trails and Recreation Program grant that Reed's Roads, prior to joining the municipality. This is another one we asked for 460,000, again, it's 50,000, right? So we're in the process of working with LSSE, trying to scale that back to see if we can make that money work to at least accomplish some portion of what we wanted to get done. And then my last thing was we've talked about Reese Run Road pretty excessively over the last couple of months. I wanted kind of some final clear direction on how fast I wanted to move forward. I don't know if I need an answer tonight or if we want to talk more at a later date, but residents wants connectivity via sidewalks. The property owners that would be impacted don't want it, right? And so as grant season's coming around here, I kind of want some direction on how to proceed. Which way are we leaning? Are we gonna start pursuing this? How we're gonna go?
Do you see any solution at all when the property owners are saying, I do not want to sell?
We
Or is
can
it up
just-
to them at all? Can you just?
We can just
wait
do
on
it. It's in the right of way, right? But you're gonna make residents mad. So that's a decision council has to make on whether or not is it best to make a decision that you impact the few to benefit the many, or every citizen's gonna be heard and we'll make decisions based on that.
It's a hard decision.
Do the three of you know about this issue, have background on
I
that?
remember hearing bits and pieces from the first couple of meetings. I think they brought up that, what they were concerned about some of the maintenance issues and some of the liability, like if somebody trips in front of their property on a crack and sues them.
Really, just clearing the sidewalk. Nobody wants to have to clear sidewalk. They never had to clear it before. You don't want to pay for it. You don't want to maintain it. Yeah, so.
The ultimate goal is to provide connectivity from Reese Run and some of those neighborhoods right there through to Field Club and over to Old Orchard. So we're trying to figure out ways how to do that
Cost effective.
cost effective and
practical.
right.
And deal with PennDOT.
Yeah, because it's not right, so you have to play by their rules.
And the resident who would have if we installed a new sidewalk, the one resident who would have that on their property has expressed some resistance to that.
And corner lot, so they might have sidewalk in the front that they might use, but this would be sort of down the hill. And not to their front door, so usually with corner lots, we get complaints. Not wanting to maintain something that's not right in front of their house.
It's not something you have to do a condemnation on, it's a right of way already. And it was designed to put a sidewalk in, it's not where it was one of the.
And-
Was it a sidewalk?
I mean, it's.
It was designed for it. The slope's pretty aggressive.
Got it.
There's a mound. It wasn't designed for it,
No.
Yeah.
but we have a right of way that allows us to do what we think is best.
Yeah.
In that space. It's kind of right.
Yeah, no.
If it was our right of way, we would have done something about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so does the borough have any sidewalks that the borough maintains that are Does the borough maintain any sidewalks?
Only ones in our parks,
Is it our parks?
on our properties.
Well, we've got the one adjacent to us, right, right adjacent to the Borough building, right, where you've got the lime trees and you walk down Lenora. That's ours, isn't it? Yeah. Somebody, it's gotta be somebody's, it must be
I
ours.
think we've only installed sidewalk at what, an HOA, but they've agreed to maintain it. Yes.
That was a missing lot,
Yeah.
we owned a lot,
Yeah.
we didn't want it.
Yes, this would be a new precedent for us.
The one on Lenora is the one that they take to get to the middle school, walk all the way down, that's the middle school.
Because we're not gonna maintain, we put it in, we're not gonna, you know,
Yeah,
but
What is the cost of the borough maintains it? And then the reason I want to bring it up is, yes, you're basically installing something on a residence property.
that's how they do it.
but it's the right.
Yeah,
I get that, but if the resident's responsible for maintaining something that's in the right of way, right, so. I mean, we have issues in my neighborhood where there are sidewalks are not shoveled, right?
yeah,
It's also like the holiday season, so person could be out of the country for like a month and
but
just be aware.
snowbirds, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but, well, maybe not sober, but if you're out for like 5 days and it snows, you have a snowstorm, what are you? You have to have like a Nest camera, possibly looking at the sidewalk.
I know, Andy will tell you that he has to write stupid tickets when someone complains that the sidewalk is.
I got some tickets for you, right?
The address.
I know my neighborhood, I've got a two-stage snow blower, so it's nothing for me to just, run it up and down the block, but.
If you're there, but if you're not there,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Are you suggesting that maybe we consider the borough maintaining that? I see you shaking your head, but let's talk
yeah,
about all options. though.
Yeah, I mean, it is an option, just, and also would PennDOT require to have concrete blocks? Can it be like an asphalt?
Based on the most they talk about the engineer, it'll be concrete sidewalks with 9-inch curb.
And not just us, the wall.
Yeah, based on their specifications, and any permit that we request that does not meet that would be denied.
Okay.
So it's their way or no way.
That's the right of way.
I guess my concern about if the borough takes over the maintenance of it, then there's gonna be a whole bunch of people that say, hey, I want that too. I don't want to shovel my sidewalk.
Yeah, and also there's a liability, so you gotta go to your liability carrier and say, hey, we're maintaining the sidewalk, so if somebody trips, we're in for it, you know?
On the property that we don't own.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that, Mr. Insurance Company?
Yeah, no, I get it, but so if you're the homeowner, what is your responsibility after every snowstorm? Do you have to go out to the shovel?
Yeah. When you have 24 hours to do it. And, I mean, there's two, well, I forget. We amended it last couple of years. 24,
Yeah.
and you get a ticket hung on your door for $50 for the front,
75 third, 100 for the 75 for the second, 100 for the thirds, and then you go see the magistrate after that.
It's a key real that each funny for notice that you come, so
So
you gotta go
the
there.
same instance.
But that's just snow removal. I mean, that even though it's in the right of way, the maintenance, we had that discussion about the lips and all the requirements. If it's cracked, if it's broken, that's on the property owner. Yeah, even though it's in the right of way,
Yeah.
it's a public easement that the public can go over it, but the responsibility, because, no municipality could shovel everybody. We can't even, a lot of municipalities, no, we're good. Can't shovel or clear every street.
Yeah.
City of Pittsburgh, out in front of, PBG for, covered in snow, it's a whole other story, but that's the issue. And there was actually a court case about 2 years ago in Mount Lebanon, somebody challenging just that stand.
Yeah.
If there's a municipal sidewalk in front of my property, I should not have to clear it and I should not have to repair it. We
Oh,
don't
well.
think of them.
Yeah, Commonwealth when
They lose.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it made a big splash, but it is.
Okay, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, all right.
Alright, so. How does everyone feel? It's about $125,000 project, right? So.
what's gonna pay for it or who's gonna pay? We
That's
asked for a grant.
That's what, I wanna know whether or not I need to pursue grants for this. We're gonna even try to attempt it, or if we're gonna say, this isn't worth the squeeze.
You have a couple of angry property owners, but the rest of the neighborhood's all excited.
Just one.
It's just one property, one family, yeah.
And if they don't shovel their sidewalk, they'll get a ticket.
And it's
And if they trip, if
it's a
somebody
30-year
trips,
bill, like. your sidewalks would go bad.
But they're not gonna be required to pay for the installation of the sidewalk. Not
Just the
like
maintenance and
I
liability.
mean, just keep on, yeah, if somebody trips on it, who's responsible?
the property owner.
Well,
Well, it's.
so under the political subdivision tort claims
Yeah,
act,
yeah, yeah.
if it is an open, and obvious, primarily it's that property owner that, that's why we have requirements for replacing that.
But it's like it's over a certain, if it's. Yeah.
All those things are in the ordinance.
I mean, I'm all for getting to these sidewalks one way or another, and if you ask for a grant, then see what happens if you get it, right?
Well, we get it.
Well, that's the issue that we're talking
Right.
about. If you get it granted and you're not gonna do it, even if you got some money, you're gonna.
You gotta pay for it.
What was your conversation like with the homeowners?
They said they've been repeating the same thing for 7 years, the 3 different managers, that they have no interest in it. That if they were gonna pursue, if they knew that we were gonna pursue this, they would have bought a different house in the borough.
Over a sidewalk.
Oh. When they have young kids, they just have no interest in having extra work put on them.
Yeah.
I think young kids, maybe that's the reason they should want a sidewalk. mean,
Well, I don't
that's one
think
of the
it's
things
part of
we-
their yard, they really use very
Yeah.
much. It's
Oh,
right next to
and
the
it's like
store
an
on the
outside.
side. Their house doesn't face Reese Run, it faces the field club.
Oh,
They have sidewalks there, the part on Reese Run,
And they
it's
said,
so steep, their kids wouldn't cut it.
yeah, the only way they said they'd be interested in, if number one, we paid for the installation, and 2, we maintained it. But we're not gonna agree to the second part.
Well,
Yeah.
50 is not bad. 1 out of 2 is not bad,
Yeah.
if you're negotiating.
By law, in theory, if we put sidewalks in the right of way, we could ask the residents to pay for it,
Oh, yeah,
but.
Not just ask them, you can assess
Yeah.
the
Yeah, you
value.
can set up a
against it.
bill.
Yeah.
Set up a bill.
yeah,
Um,
it's a lien on
But
that.
are they aware,
not a problem.
yeah, are they aware of, we'll pay for it via grants, they're not paying for it?
I told them that we would be paying for it, but I couldn't guarantee us to maintain anything.
Yeah, are you saying that they're aware that we as a borough paying for it with tax dollars or with grants? Are you saying,
Grants.
is that the distinction you're making?
Yeah, is the
Or that
homeowner
the
aware?
borough's paying for it?
I don't
however-
think they care about like these profits, so they're not, they're gonna be burdened with something they don't want.
Yeah, would they be okay taking care of it if they did not pay for it?
I think that's the answer still, man.
Yeah, unless the
They
message
just
comes
don't-
along with it, they're not interested in that.
And that's the issue. We have to decide, are we willing to say, sorry, homeowner, right, we're gonna put this in anyway. So that's the crux of this discussion.
I cannot.
I don't think so.
not know that. Yeah.
So technically, we can install the sidewalk and we can also ask the owner to pay for that, right? So
Yeah,
this is
Well,
the
no,
difference,
ask,
right?
you can make.
Then, if that's the case, then we can negotiate with them, either you can pay for it, or you can maintain it.
Or both.
Well,
Those
if they
are
pay
my
for it,
areas.
yeah,
So it's just like, it's all like a negotiation, right? Because and anyway, the owner is not happy with the situation. But we have to at least, let them like, the we can install that sidewalk and the unit, either like that, you can go either way.
I like that. You tell them, hey, this is happening no matter what. You either really hate it or hate it more or less.
Yeah. But
Is it
I think
happening
that
about
to
this?
Zach's point, I mean,
That's what we have to figure out.
certain council will remember with summer fields, I mean, that was a requirement
Oh,
that the
yeah.
developer put in the sidewalks. And we did, we had the kids coming in,
Yeah.
don't put these on, I don't want these, and that come to public comment.
We still put them in, we put them in. for-
We didn't develop, well, yeah, we did, that's right.
You did put them in charge to develop for it, because he didn't want to do it, because he said it was
Yes.
unfeasible or whatever. so.
Something like this. But, I mean, that's I mean, at the end of it, like, could they sue you to stop it? Right, I don't think they really, they don't have time to shovel a sidewalk, they don't have time to hire someone to stop it.
How long is the road?
Yeah.
I don't remember offhand.
Farmington is 9 houses on it.
What's that?
Farmington has 9 houses.
No, I mean the stretch that we would be paying.
That's probably a couple hundred feet.
Yeah, I was gonna say 300 feet,
Yeah.
probably.
Probably
It's on a hillside, so there's a lot of excavation, so that's the issue.
Yeah, which one's going to yard?
Yeah.
I think it's for the safety of the folks. I mean, sidewalks are typically about safety, aren't they? So you're gonna weigh the benefits and the burden.
You think it's connecting like 24 homes
That's a lot of,
to the park system
yeah,
and with one, so.
that's a lot of value.
I would say it's connecting a lot more. There's a lot of kids that ride their scooters and bikes all up and down Reese Run. and go through
The
it.
two main roads that kick off that, have
This two
pursued
cul-de-sacs.
this, yeah, are roughly 22.
I mean, I don't like to like. You only have to do it for the borough, there's that many people that are saying you need safety of the sidewalk.
You gotta keep in mind, you might have a non-compliance issue that, what would happen, you continue issuing tickets. They continue to not. Just shovel or whatever it is, I mean, around the borough, we have this issue in neighborhoods where people are not shoveling, so now we have this. What is gonna happen if you have like 50 incidents, does the borough have to like then? Lien the property or?
I don't know how that works, but I do know that if it's being used that much, there's gonna be immediate complaints if it's not. If it's not full, I'm sure.
Don't help, I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody is bringing in their own snowplow. Just
Well,
go
yeah,
around
the
there.
community's very excited about the sidewalk.
Yeah,
They
you might
come
go-
in with a snow thrower and just.
I think that would be my thing, and rather than have my kids, be opposed to.
So that's what I do where I need
that,
to-
and shovel.
Yeah, I have a snow thrower and I take care of the sidewalks off and for the neighbors, I don't wait around for someone. It's not that big a deal.
And surely there's, I mean, I'm not saying they should have to be excited about it, but if there's that many people that would use it. With the percentages, somebody's probably, shoveling.
This is basically a technical issue, right?
Yes.
Just our non-county book, place of work.
Not as much. Not as much, over, not as much.
I
It's not
would
as-
feel personally,
Smaller.
it's about me personally, but I would feel better if I spoke to you about that. So unless you guys wanted to make a decision tonight, I'd like to speak to the residents. They're in my ward, but just like to touch base. with them.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I have something number for you too.
Perfect, please send it to me. Yes.
It's an opportunity to have those 24 homes that are impacted, because
Just
of
in money.
No, I was gonna say, because American then offers to plow
I don't know.
And
that-
also to what? Oh.
I think their argument
Sign
would
up
be.
sheet, sign up genius.
Yes.
Let's take
they're
turns.
required-
Snow angel guards.
That's right. That's what
I totally get it, but just to be diplomatic. Okay,
I feel like
Boy Scouts over there was,
if they want it so bad. I'm sorry, somebody put football for money or not, take care of it. I'm just saying. Okay, Laura, do you want,
Happy to.
let me know. how
You
that-
guys still need the department heads or can they? Well,
Okay,
I don't even, maybe I'll send.
yeah, executive session, anything? Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah, sorry, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys.
We'll see you.
Happy New Year.
See you tomorrow.
same stuff to me.
I just got some phrases.
All right.
Still sorry about that.
Okay, all right,
Just got it.
okay, thank you.
It's okay,
Still public.
we're still public, yeah. Okay, all right, we'll see what they say. Got some options here. And maybe some volunteers to plow.
Beat that back. Remind me about George maintenance is out of there.
Bob might do it.
You do whatever they want,
Privately, right?
as long, if it's, not shoveled and we get a complaint and Andy goes out there, he doesn't like look up and see, oh, there's a joint maintenance one, it's Tim's turn, so I'm gonna go and cite it, cite the property.
I'm just thinking of Franklin. The person tripped. Did they, somebody tripped coming back from Franklin and
Uh-oh.
they. I thought it was part of council, I thought it happened like first year of council.
But
We had that one water main break.
All right, got it.
you're not gonna beat, you're not gonna win. You have to notice.
I'm served.
You did win that? No. Okay.
Insurance expense.
All right, let's see how this goes.
That would have been me, like, that would have been something I would, yeah, I got like 80 wins on those, so.
Yeah.
Okay, let us know how it goes as a resident and I'll work on the sign up to you. Forgot that one.
They seem to put signs up and say, the sidewalk,
Volunteer.
shoveled by,
Oh, yeah.
well,
Right.
or two council members.
No signs that have been that right away. Go, Pete.
All right, we're down to council appointments. All right, planning, these are on the agenda for next month, right? I mean,
Yeah, blanks.
yeah, I got blanks there. So the planning commission, when I first got on council, I did So,
You
was
did.
there for 3 years, then I gave it Dr. Lee. So would you like to do it again?
Probably not this time.
Okay, so to any of our council members or new ones, when I got on council in 2022, January 2022, it was expanded from 7 to 9, because we were having quorum issues. And quite honestly, during my time, it did get canceled a lot because there were no applicants. So an applicant has to physically turn their stuff into the borough
Timely.
by
Yeah.
the first of the month. If they don't get it in, it doesn't get on the agenda, and there's agenda's empty, and we just don't meet. So there's a period of time where for me, it is subdivision applications, housing applications. Those are the general things that come through.
And reviewing ordinances.
Sometimes, yeah,
Land use will throw stuff at them, right?
Yeah. and it is an advisory, right? So it's not binding. So if they say we recommend this, say thanks, but we disagree. It's not binding. But subdivisions have come through there. Those are the major things that we've seen. There is a spot for one council member on there. And part of it is to have representations that we're on there. We know that they are following everything they have to do. Reviewing the packets thoroughly, because we were having some issues with that. Things were coming to council, they weren't fully reviewed, and we had to like defer or, table it until it's like reviewed or not. So that's one reason. The other is to help quorum. You do learn a lot. These applications are interesting. You have some people that want to put solar panels in the yard, and we had arguments between neighbors on right facing and what constitutes a front door. I mean, you'll have all sorts of interesting things.
In the middle of the road.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Get those two.
Yeah.
It meets on the third Tuesday of the month.
Anticipating our work session and stuff.
Yeah, it's like right before the regular monthly meeting.
Yeah.
So
you actually
it is-
report on what happens.
Yep, so you can report it the next day,
Yeah.
like what happens.
Yeah.
It's very quick. I've never been in one of those meetings longer than 30 minutes. It meets out here publicly. So would either of you be interested in doing this? This sounds like a very good opportunity to learn. Want to do it? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
You work in, or it's a saying about, whether somebody steps forward or everybody else is.
Yeah, you do learn a lot. And there aren't that many subdivision plans coming in.
No.
It's gonna slow down. Yeah, I'm actually not sure what they've been meeting on.
There's a lot of been,
The third Tuesday.
there hasn't been.
They haven't had one in months.
So-
They haven't met in months. So.
Yeah.
I think they just got an application, so.
That's true.
I think they announced they didn't have anything. You won't be on, just so it'll be voted on today.
So there might be a meeting this month, the next month.
You can go observe.
Secretary will send you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also do that.
Marcy Burke.
She'll send you an email to your official email address, and then it'll have the packet, which is very thin. But yeah, you're basically like the committee before it gets to like council. And stuff.
And they have their own solicitor, Max sends one of his colleagues to oversee the meetings, you get legal advice.
Cool. Thanks, Peter. Okay, then you've got the North Hills COG delegate and alternate.
You thought planning commission's fun.
Wait, you're right. Yeah, so if anyone wants to see this, if no one wants to do this, I'll do it again, but yeah, this is basically the.
Slightly interested in COG.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Awesome. Okay.
Unless you want to do it, I'll be the alternate.
Yeah, it's totally up to you. I mean, if you want to be Allegheny County Boroughs Association.
Well, I technically have been that for 2 years, but I have done zero.
Do they even meet?
I mean, I did it.
COG definitely meets, and they take attendance.
I'll grab the schedule.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I think they're
Thursday.
Thursdays.
It's like
Seven
6 times a year?
Oh, okay, that's me.
Got that.
Is it virtual
Yeah.
or in person?
It's all, they like to meet in person, but I've never gone in person. They're like somewhere in Shaler,
Yeah, they have some office, yeah.
Yeah.
Insurance.
Yeah, they got people to that.
Oh, yeah.
Virtual.
Yeah, I just
So,
super,
managers meetings, when I say for,
Oh, okay.
but then, yeah,
So
the
I don't
COG
need to be there for the managers.
no, that's me and then. all the other
Oh, yeah, these are
managers.
daytime.
but COG is basically like the,
Sewing center.
I mean, if you imagine like a. I don't know, what's the best way to describe
It's a
it?
buying collective, so whenever you buy stuff in bulk, you get a cheaper price, so all of the municipalities in the North Hills area came together, North Hills area com. So when we bid out for bulk supplies, we pull all of our numbers. Yeah, salt, for example, gravel, pipe, stuff like that, tires.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
For many communities and there was then someone, you know.
Yeah, like Marshall, they're probably like, High Township, like, they're all
yeah,
like, they have a representative.
2030.
Yeah, it's like,
22, 23,
Uh,
something like that. Now they started letting some authorities in.
Oh, there goes.
Yeah.
That's there.
I don't think they have like a vote, like.
I mean, it's basically like,
Secondary.
they have a very simple agenda, and, I've never experienced like a roll call vote, it's always been for voice. The rare occasion, you'll have a weekend email sparing number of files, which. Great. So, yes, we approve, or no, no, I'm not comfortable voting on this, whatever. But, yeah, so that's what the COG is, do you wanna do it? I'll do it, if not,
I'll go.
you wanna do it? All right, fun. You wanna be primary or alternate, what do you wanna do?
That's like private.
That's what I heard.
Primary's gotta go,
Okay,
I'll keep going if you want, if you alternate, it's totally up to you, but
I'll
alternate doesn't mean you show up, so,
go, because I'm eager to learn what they're doing, so.
it's like a Costco.
Yep.
That's what it's like.
Wait a minute, it's like Costco?
Yeah, my.
Oh, I was like, years ago.
It's like collective bargaining. Collective bulk buying, yes.
Yeah, they just did our,
Verizon.
Verizon contract, yeah.
They had to have unanimous, consent now, if I'm not mistaken, right? Franchise.
It goes through,
And they do grants for you too. Yeah, so there's a handful of county grants that, they'll basically write, they'll administer for you, right? So you give them all information, and they submit it under their name with the goal. There's a lot of time and energy that goes into managing grants in the back end, supplying information, audits, money management, all the different fun stuff that goes along with that. So they'll do that for you, and then they just give you the funds to do the projects. But the bulk of those are for low income communities, which we do not qualify for, like 95% of their grants.
We put up 2 months ago.
Yeah, we don't have like areas of designated poverty.
We're feeling poverty stricken.
We don't really have that.
Has to be one, doesn't need to have it direct.
Uh,
It's like when something.
yes.
so you're just gonna be alternate?
I'll be alternate or. Primary.
Oh, good, thank you.
Okay, I think the next meeting is, it's like Thursday, January something.
Yep.
It's good, I think it's usually one after one.
Yeah, yeah, it's always a Thursday. We had perfect attendance last year. So, let's keep it going. There's always 7, there's always 7 people.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the meetings just have like 5 people, they need 5 for quorum. So, it's,
I can do it.
yeah, it's interesting. They'll send an RSVP out, if you don't respond, Lynn will call you. That's what they attend.
They do a bunch of good stuff. They offer training for stormwater, all the communities. Every year they do, flagger training, keep everybody certified. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that they also.
No, yeah, it's good. Okay, so you got that, Allegheny County Borough Association. Laura, do you wanna do that? Do you want me to do it?
You do that.
Do they meet? Like, how do they? What do they do?
The story we always told was when Amy Sable was on council.
Yeah.
And Amy Sable was our ACPA delegate. And so they had a meeting and she went and she said she walked in and they all looked at her. And you know, basically like, why are you here? So it almost sounds like they have meetings, but I don't know if it's just like they're,
Insular.
yes. People attend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go.
Pretty much, I think Amy was the only one that ever went to something and yeah.
Did not feel
no, did not feel well.
Did it-
So,
did they send us invites? Like,
I never saw one.
yeah,
And actually, I did see an invite to their annual dinner, which I couldn't go to.
right, I was gonna say, yeah, there was.
That would have been weird for me to show up at the dinner and having not
Yeah.
attended. Otherwise, it didn't-
Yeah, we're not going.
Is it a casino? Part of like.
Nothing is up
For me long. Yes.
No, you're right.
Okay, so I'll do this,
There you
this ACP thing.
go.
Okay, so council committees. Okay, so, for everyone, we got all these on agenda, right? Okay. Okay, for everyone's benefit, council committee, that's different than like EAC and like zoning, planning commission, all that stuff. The council committees are our subcommittees, which one, so think about like Congress, they have like the Foreign Service Committee or whatever it is, and Ways and Means. Yeah, stuff like that. So our council committees are finance, personnel, land use, technology. Maybe like two others, whatever it is. Some of the committees have 5 people, some of them have 6 people. It's all out there. Do we have a requirement on numbers?
You're not supposed to have like an equivalent to your quorum, so usually we have 3 members, and here's their little trick as well. Thank you to the Sunshine Act. Definition of agency that applies to is the body and all committees thereof authorize the body to take official action or render advice on matters of agency business. So your committee meetings, you have 3 members, you have 2 people talking, it is a Sunshine Act meeting. We do advertise them. We came up with a process where we just essentially say, we're gonna have a committee meeting at 6 o'clock, you know, before the work session or so, or these are the top personnel, finance, public works, public safety, land use planning. And we'll cancel them. They don't. Perfect.
Right, the ad we do for the yearly meetings, says the committee meetings will be the first and third Wednesdays, 6 o'clock. If there is a meeting, we post the agendas online here. If there isn't, then Donna just gonna post some on the meeting.
And so they're advertised, they're broadcast, they're open to the public, typically don't have public comment, typically don't have motions coming out. It's more of an informal recommendation. But both official action and just rendering advice because you're making forms of recommendations are why they're covered. Personnel committee, though, often meets in executive committees can also meet in executive session. So oftentimes personnel committee, which is talking about individual personnel, is really meeting in executive session. So they're a bit.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, public safety, I've noticed mayor
Sometimes.
has been on that, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
police.
I'll find out when those are.
What's that?
I'll find out when those are.
Yeah, so
That-
these have not been scheduled. Land use is the only one that's been scheduled, right? That's.
Well, land use is tentative.
Yeah.
Brian said to check with him. Are you having
What do
land
you,
use on the
what are your
21st?
thoughts?
We can either do cell towers or,
Data center.
data center.
I can't do data center with Max, because
Yeah.
Max is conflicted out.
Yeah.
That's probably also another good, our firm, is approximately 100 lawyers. We have a large energy practice. And so we have a business conflict, not legal conflict. We don't represent applicants coming up in front of the borough. But because we do so much oil and gas development, we do, utility scale solar developments, we do battery energy storage, and now we're starting to do data centers a la Springdale Center. We have a business conflict. And so when the borough did the oil and gas ordinance overlay and the zoning ordinance there, special counsel, we stood back. We still participate in talking about the procedural steps of getting it enacted, but nothing as to the substance of restrictions or requirements placed on those industries.
So convening the land use committee would be just for the cell tower work. I can't do the data center.
Yeah, that's
with
fine.
Max. I want to do the data center. I was gonna check to see if Laura was interested in working on the data center with me.
You
We'll
can,
grab the stuff from around us.
Right, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot, there's a lot.
okay,
Yeah,
you can always,
yeah.
but we can always talk about it. Just want to put it as an agenda bullet point, right? Is that okay?
Well, you have your committee list.
Um,
by them.
I could. try.
Because that's the thing, we don't
Yeah.
have current.
Okay, we don't.
There's a sign who's.
Yeah, so we can talk about that real quick here. So for personnel, I actually wanted to, Dr. Lee, Laura, if you want to be on that, the three of us. Styles, is that good?
No, that's fine, I'm just making
Yeah.
sure, so just three.
Yeah, my thoughts were the committee. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Like, when I mentioned that some of the committees have like 5 people, some have 4 people. Are you okay limiting, trying to keep the committees at like 3 in general? Public safety being the exception because mayor and our junior council person has been a part of that in the past couple of years.
And also the practice has been that people show up to all those meetings whether or not.
Yeah, everyone's gonna show up. Yeah, you can show up anyway.
It's just extra work sessions is what it looks like. I'm saying.
If you wanna come show up, that's
Yeah.
fine. You can participate. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But as far as like the formal members that are listed for purposes of the agenda and everything, we wanna keep it to 3, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
We can go that route.
We don't typically, keep meeting minutes.
The chair does.
The chair is,
Chair has been, but not.
yes, but as I say, the chair usually will get me an agenda, Brian knows up on him. And whenever a meeting is scheduled, the chair will usually let me know when we put on the agenda. I can type it up, they can. type
I
up
just,
whatever you prefer.
I just send it to you and make sure that it's.
And then, the chair usually will do minutes.
And just
Or-
regurgitate whatever some reason might have.
More of a report out of the committee, yeah, because there's no motion to adopt this,
No.
minutes from the last, finance committee meeting or anything. Little
It's not bad. Minutes are ad hoc.
Just so we have some kind of,
Okay.
okay.
So we can have like 3 council members for each.
Yeah.
And you can, I mean, obviously, if you're proposing it usually. So it's.
I think last time took me a month. That's you.
And, you know, you can do it however you choose. I know in the past, sometimes the president has asked what committees people are interested in or what meets their background and, however you choose to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have. My laptop's, there's a sheet.
The personnel land use.
Yeah.
Public safety.
Finance, yeah, I have it up on my computer. I did not put it in this packet.
Okay.
Because it wasn't current
Yeah.
members. I can send it out to everybody just via email.
Yeah.
If you want, or just send it to you, however you want to do it.
If you want to send out the list of the committees to everyone,
Okay,
and then if you want to let me know what you have an interest in. And then,
I'll work on anything, but I'll stick with land use for the chair.
yeah, and we still want to have that meeting.
I do, I want to have it just on myself and I'll get together with Laura and we'll talk about the data center.
You want to talk about data center there? I'm fun if you have it. Then.
Mhm.
and your current land use was Brian, Laura, Dr. Lee, and I'm sure what's on
Okay. Do you
I
want to
need
be
an
on land
engine.
use?
So,
You're here.
I can do financial and I can chair the technology. Right, we still have technology on the,
We do have a technology committee.
Yeah, I think-
And while,
Yeah,
yes,
I
you
can-
are listed as chair of that.
yeah, I can share the technology and then I can join like the financial and both like personal. Mm. So if I need to do more and.
That's 3.
Okay, so-
Yeah. Not that everything meets
Right, some of these committees,
Technology hasn't met.
no.
a year and a half.
Yeah.
No. Some of these haven't met. All right, I will send out just a list of the council committees, not.
Not the
current
people.
I will send you
Yeah.
the list of the current members. However you wanna, but I'll send everybody just a list of the.
Yeah, just the
Specific
big list,
committees.
yeah. Okay.
So just landing the plane, I'll do the land use committee on the 21st. What do we, is it usually 6?
It's 6 to 7.
Yeah,
It's
And-
to the work.
yeah, and it's just gonna be working on the cell tower.
Do you have to be there for that one?
Man, was there for the last one, the way we sort of left, there was some thing we wanted Tim to do, but he's been out.
Oh, yeah, we're not
Looking
there
at
yet, are we?
size of properties and.
Wait, if
I
I
went
need
visited a
to.
couple of lots to try to see what I thought was feasible.
Mhm.
And I did some driving through other communities in my time off to see how else
Yeah.
everybody else does it.
Mm.
They usually put them next to like, if there's a structure that, or some sort of something that kind of eliminate one side.
Yeah.
So you only get inconvenience to one side.
So it's
So like next to highway, or next to highways, you know, in your commercial district, there's not residential.
Right.
And stuff like that.
That's what, I agree, that's true.
And so.
Where they put them on the edge of their municipality.
Well, if
Commercial.
if I need Tim for this, then why don't, Laura, are you good on the 21st if you want to work on the data center?
Tim's back always.
Experiences are stable.
All right, so that's gonna be that's probably gonna be too much for him all at one time, so.
Do you wanna hold off then for the?
On the cell, yeah, but we can do the thing. I'm happy to work with Laura and whoever else wants to show up for the data centers and we'll work it out, yeah. And then Max can have the hour off.
So January 21st is land use.
Land use, and it's gonna be
Data
taking up the issue of data centers. Cool. I got some stuff I took, yes, I'll send it to you.
Okay, let's see, reports from council mayor, so. I think you guys have been here in the past where we just like literally around, if you have anything to report, anything issue you want to bring up.
Concerns.
Yeah, exactly. Being the first one, skip counterclockwise.
Well, I mean, make sure that you demo,
Yeah, just anything. If you don't have anything, that's cool too.
well, I don't know anything, nothing new, but, probably during the campaigning and that some people, go to now, some people expect, hey, on this one, I want this, myself, I don't know. It just kind of getting there. Here, there was something like how process, and you find out the what is that from, of course, of getting the request, etc. That's, trying to know, somebody asked the question, how we can approach. It's help, hey, I need help, how can help me? It's basically, what kind of process we follow, we tell them to come to the board meetings and ask them question at the public meeting.
Depend, I mean, you can always, I mean, that's sort of the default answer. We have public comment at the third Wednesday of the month or so, but a lot of times people don't want to do that. I mean, they, will either send you an email, each in a parking lot, or they give you a phone call and say, I want a sidewalk, on Reed Run Road or stuff.
I wanna walk
Usually-
with you, come see this.
Yeah.
They bind you, yeah.
Yeah, so, but, and then, so I was, okay, well, we'll, consider it, and that's either at this part of the meeting or sort of another time we had as part of a discussion session of, all right, I've had residents in X plan that are interested in this, and just bringing it forward for debate discussions. Yeah, this is when we get into the more of those directives rather than a motion that comes forward. Okay, Zach, get together with borough engineer and start looking at it and provide some information to you to go back to the resident or maybe answer the questions, things of that nature. I think some of the other work's seasoned, might have some other experiences and know, you can't make everybody happy all the time. Sometimes saying no is the right answer, even though it's hard. But a lot of times, people just want to know that they're being heard, that you're taking it under consideration, you're not blowing them off, you're not giving them some canned response of like, you're written. Some other elected officials higher up, you get to, my wife loves to do that. She's like, I know this one's a canned one. I'm like, this one seems like somebody actually read it or so.
What you find when you do this is that they're reaching out to you by phone or by email. I got a bunch of email, and what happens is you can like look at the email and go, okay, who at the borough, who of the folks that are in these departments, public works, or maybe it's the police, whoever it is, who is it that I can say to this resident, I'm going to reach out to the person that knows the answer or can get some answer, and then they will get back to you directly, or they'll tell me and I'll get back to you. that's kind of like the majority of what seems to be gone, unless there's some huge like controversy going on, which is rare. So mostly it's just, can you find somebody, because you don't know the answer, who can answer the question? And when it's zoning, sometimes it'll be zoning. It's Tim's the one that knows the answer. You don't want to commit to anything when it comes to those things, because those are all official acts. So what you want to say is, I'll get to him and I'll find out what's going on and what information we can get you to help you or whatever. Sometimes it's just sitting down in a meeting. So, but you'll get this on the job training where we're trying to figure out, how do I handle this constituents problem, you know, so.
And what we do try to avoid though, you know, and because you're a member of corporate, you know, entity, majority rules, the president does have some additional authority, but if there is some issue, you know, we don't like to have one council member, you know, going Gary's and, hey, fix this, you know, issue. Yeah, maybe to direct them to it or something. A lot of it go, yeah, that's a little on. Talk to, so you can go through Zach for a lot of those types of things. But, and we really haven't, you know, there are other municipalities who have gotten into trouble by micromanaging and having one single elected official, not speaking for the majority, directing work, and it just puts the staff in a tough position because they don't know exactly how to respond or otherwise, so it is something to be cognizant.
This is like when in doubt, which should be almost always, let them know you'll find out who knows the answer, and you know, they'll get back to you or you'll get back to them. And if it's something like a decision making, yeah, right. We also try to loop everybody in. If you get an email, it's like, I really want to have a sidewalk that goes in my backyard and connects to the trail. You want to loop everybody in the room, and you want to say, well, we'll take that under advisement. We'll talk about it at our next work session or something. So you want to be able to, you want to be heard, but that's kind of a good example of where that's not for you personally to deal with and figure out that. So.
Yeah, you want to be cognizant about what you respond in writing to. Because it might
And
be,
how.
and how you respond.
Right to know law.
Yeah.
That's the second chapter in the book here.
Yeah, so everything is
Talk about that later.
for property, so if there's a right to know or a sort of thing, anything can be. So, and you don't want to give them the wrong impression, they might misconstrue it. Then you give, well, you said on such and such email that,
Yeah, you promised me this. That's the thing that.
but they might interpret it as a promise.
Yeah, that's what I knew that.
Constituents will always want you to commit and fix their problem immediately, and we'd love to do that, but that's not legal.
And even when you don't promise, they'll hear that you promised.
The words, they think the words that they want to hear,
They'll
so.
hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
So like, the Reese Run Road, for example, you know, I told them I'd do what I could within the restraints that we have. You know, for some reason they thought that I was gonna, you know,
Make it happen.
yeah, knock down doors to, you know, make everything work.
Quick question, while we're sort of on this topic, so when people call, you know, the offices, we always tell them they're welcome to come to a meeting, they can contact their council person, whichever route they choose. So, over past years, we had always, obviously, we have the borough emails. Our past process was always, we would get, and I was talking with Kristen today about this, we would give up home phone numbers, not cell phone numbers. Well, now, a lot of people don't have the same phone numbers, only cell phone numbers. If a resident, you know, is requesting and says, I don't have a computer, I can't email. Are we required to give phone numbers or?
There's no requirement, I mean, I don't think you even put that information in your statement of financial interests, so they can find it somewhere else, but yeah, I mean, that level of contact, you know, there's no borough code provisions.
I think there was, and like I said, we always, you know, did the home number, not the cell phone number. But now, you know, we're hitting the point where people just have that one number.
And nobody has the yellow.
And when you get a lot of the older residents, I don't have a computer, I don't email, you know, so how can I get in touch with my council person or anything?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Typically, could they leave a message at the borough?
They could.
Well, that was the
Yeah.
other thing I was gonna say, they could do that, and we could reach out to you to contact that. But I'm leery, I didn't wanna give out cell phone numbers.
That's what you like, preference. I mean, I'd be happy if somebody wanted to send a letter or if they wanted to leave a message in that. When you were Donna, say, hey, so-and-so, wants to have a conversation
Right,
about something.
and we have done that, where people have called here and said, have this person phone call, that's fine.
Although Kathy, I'll say I've done this for, how many years? My cell phone was out there from day one. I can't say that's ever been an issue, ever. I mean, we're not Congress, we're not.
Give it
that-
time. Yeah, it
Wait,
will.
till you hear about the data center agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, no.
So for now, we will give out emails, and, you know, if somebody insists on speaking with somebody, it will be, you know, we will contact you and
Yeah.
provide you with their information for you to know that.
Renee and Zach, were you guys talking about any Teams phone numbers for members of council? Is
So
that
we,
feasible?
one of the updates that we're doing this year is updating our phone system, right? And a part of that is, from my understanding, that you have an assigned number here, that you have an app on your phone that
Oh,
it links to
switchboard.
here,
Yeah.
you immediately get the voicemail on your phone, right? And you can call back through your phone through that app under the registered number with the borough.
Not yourself, not your personal cell phone.
Correct.
So it's like a voice over internet protocol with an
Yeah.
alias.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be a Teams call. Teams call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll do that this year, to upgrade that system, because our phone system crashed last year, year before. And so it's outdated and needs upgraded.
And we've been having issues off and on fairly frequently,
Yeah,
so.
so we budgeted 30,000 to upgrade. Also.
I mean, in practicality, there's only been one or two times that I've not wanted to share my cell phone number. And that you can just call them from an app on your phone that blocks the number.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, the burner phone.
I don't
No,
think
but this is good, right? Because I mean, Teams also, if they call, leave a message,
Mhm.
you can just click on your email and it'll have the audio file.
Yeah.
So,
Instant communication is the way it grabs it.
it's simple.
Yeah, it lets you know right away, and it notifies you right on your phone. You gotta.
Well, it's in your email, it's in your Outlook.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Are we just doing reports?
Yeah. Yep. First,
Not really so much a report, but kind of a recap of some of the things I heard on the campaign trail, if you will, Zach, and then we talked about, Wexford Glen Road in general, whether it's trees or, people sliding down. I actually, saw somebody not make the bend coming from Brantsville Road, going towards Cole. They couldn't make the bend across the bridge and went straight to somebody's driveway, like, over the hill. So, that stretch of Wexford Run in general is kind of at the forefront of my brain for if we ever have the opportunity to do any improvements there, and money comes up from whatever sort of possible to increase traction through there, if there's trees that look like they're gonna cause the chaos they did in the spring, and I know there's the debate on, who's actually responsible for trees, but just kind of want to keep the conversation open for any opportunities to improve that stretch, because I know it's been a problem, and it's been a problem. Okay.
Yeah, congratulations on like all new members and plus with the new mayor and looking forward to work with you guys. Somehow, and because last year we just increased the property and tax, and so my question would be like how we can keep good track of the financial situation, like, because in the start from this year, right, we have like quite a bit, and property tax and coming to the Borough, so we kind of predict that we'll have like a 300 or 500,000 and
Surplus?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 350,000.
Yeah, kind of, right?
Yep.
And so is there any way that we can like make sure that we have probably more, not less, like, surplus and in like, in the cash and the reserve or something,
Yes.
So because and we don't want to get into a situation and this one. The previous financial situation, and the last year,
Yeah.
because I have talked to some of my friends even they're not so happy with this, and 69%. How many percent increase?
67, I think.
67, yeah.
But
Yeah, increase, and even they're not happy, but I explained to them and the situation, and so they kind of understand.
Yeah.
But they still want to know and whether that the borough is taking some action, to make sure that that we can spend the money, wisely, not like waste any money, and also keep the budget kind of like high.
Yeah.
So and I believe some people may go to like the borough's website to look up some information. So we need to make sure that we can really show people like how we're doing and financially, and and make sure they understand the action that we have taken, and so make sure that we wouldn't get into some situation.
Yeah.
Like before.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas that are all personnel related, so we'll talk about those and.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, I believe that is something that we really need to work on it and make sure that we have all the information and then keep that, all for really good,
Yeah.
condition.
Because borough finances come down to the bulk of it is personnel and then organizations that are outside your control that you find, right? So your library boards, your ambulance authorities, your fire departments, those organizations we don't have control over, we fund heavily. And so any decision to make, significant changes in how we operate financially will be significant changes in how we fund outside organizations or how we staff.
Are you envisioning that maybe there might be some visual thing on our website that talks about the finances or tracks them from year to year? Is that like, do they want to see some visual?
I believe so, to see like
Mhm.
annually, like and we have something like
Like the state of the boroughs?
Yeah,
I think it's the report Reach gives every month that has like, this is how much we brought in so far this year, this is how much we spent, this is percentage of that budget. That's something we get easily, it's already been prepared, put up, that's a nice visual of.
I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
where you can see the red and the blue,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing. Right?
exactly, and
Yeah.
we can make some stuff like kind of simple.
Yeah.
And because nobody would have time to go through like.
Because it's a report we're already generating, so like, that's pretty simple just to post it.
Yeah.
I think that like 90% of it is transparency.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a 67% tax increase, but what's going on? If I could see what's going on
Exactly.
and I could see it coming, it might let you see it was reasonably easier to say, okay,
Exactly.
these guys are telling me everything that's happening.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no surprises
Like a
here.
more detailed version of like when we were on the turnpike, and it says, you're told dollars a quarter. Whatever, yeah.
How much percentage is going to the, it's just like, how much of this is personnel? How much of this is the library? How much of this is the, right?
Yeah,
That would be along with, like you said, that monthly,
yeah,
this is how much was collected so far, this is how much was spent. Of what was spent.
Yeah, I think we should implement this so you know. Because.
Yeah,
I
we've talked about this for a while.
Yeah, Laura's, I know
Okay,
you brought it up several times.
all right,
We're already doing this, there's no reason, just make it a PDF so they can like maybe.
Yeah,
data.
okay,
Yeah, just like something
I
like
think
that.
it'd be really.
because I don't think we should put like the actual invoices like that.
No,
yeah,
Like line item stuff, that's
Don't
crazy.
get too
We'll get-
detailed, but people want a
Yeah,
one
yeah,
shot,
One page.
I
snapshot.
wanna see what's going on, how much
Good
came in, how much got spent, what
Yeah.
is going on, so on the percentage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, the value of 67%.
Yeah,
Yeah. What am I
Yeah,
getting
just
for
to
my
clarify,
money?
yeah, we were gonna like write this, yeah, but to be
Yeah.
clear, it is 63%.
Oh, okay.
I have the article up, so.
yeah, sure.
Fiscal proactive budget.
Essentially,
Yeah.
what am I getting for my money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is somebody keeping track of it, at least monthly,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened to it?
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
Okay.
So,
Mm.
and we like a news flash on the, right on the homepage, right?
Yeah, just
Check out the
graphic right there.
finances
Yeah.
for Jamie, whatever this is.
Because some people will be a little bit shocked that when
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
once they're finally educated about what exactly is going
And
on.
they're just our payroll.
Yes,
You know, we're looking at.
Yeah.
$500.
yeah, yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
We can make it simple, so that people can easily understand it. So if they need to find more information, they can always,
Come to the Borough and hang out.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. I think the visual, yeah. I think
Yeah, let's
it'd be
make
good.
that a priority.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Well, first, I wanted to say congratulations to the new and returning, council members. But secondly, I had a clarifying question. So the interviews for the EAC that council did today, when are you, so when is council planning on like actually deciding? Is that at the regular meeting for this month?
Yeah, we agreed to like go forward and put them on the agenda.
We decided, but it'll be official.
Yeah.
At the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll vote on them in 21st.
Okay, so you'll pick between both of the interviews.
Oh, we're thinking about,
three
There are
spots.
3 spots.
So this is you know people.
if you know of anyone who wants to do this.
Yeah. well,
That'd be awesome.
Sure. He's farming.
Is there marriage?
I would say someone.
For voting.
Okay.
Oh, I think
Mayor Carney.
There might not be that requirement.
I think like 23.
I'll look in.
Yeah, if you know,
Former German.
if you know anyone,
Yeah,
Oh, I think they have.
okay, thank you.
I don't know.
Yes, I just wanted to, thank everyone for the warm welcome, and I look forward to working with all of you. I really do appreciate the warm welcome. I've been already speaking with, Chief Leach, and working with him, and I'll be swearing in tomorrow morning the, newest police officer, just so that
Oh, that's
he
exciting.
said he's official,
Yeah.
before the formalities, so that if he needs to take action, he can. And like Benny said, it's a, kind of a question I had too, as far as when approached, because I've already been approached, mostly by, not by strangers, but by people I know. You know, asking me, the biggest is, what's going on at, 79 and 910, and what can be done there, and, nothing. It is what it is.
It's PennDOT's party and PennDOT's enjoying the party.
But, that was nice to hear, some suggestions on how to react and respond.
Oh, yeah, you learn on the job for sure.
If you guys ever need like information, please reach out to myself or Aaron. I was happy to give you what you need.
Thank you.
And I would say in the mayor world, I mean, everybody looks at the mayor city of Pittsburgh and they're doing X, Y, and Z, and they're signing these contracts and everything else, and being the borough mayor, you can preside at the organization meeting, you liaise with the chief of police, break those tie votes, eventually veto ordinances, but
Yeah.
not voting on everything else that comes forward.
Yeah,
and-
wait for something.
Yeah, exactly. Learn how to pull.
You can always be the voice of every constituent and always be like, I don't know what the goofy council's doing.
Our captain, and he introduced himself tonight, and he's already asked for raises. So,
Oh, boy. There we go.
well, look at him.
0 to 0.
Nice.
Separate.
Zach
Hope
got
you
an
last
answer.
week.
Zach's got an answer.
I have nothing.
I'm good.
yeah, just want to say congrats and welcome aboard. For your members, thanks again for the opportunity of presiding officer of council. Looking forward to doing a bunch of things, positive, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were actually 2 things I wanted to bring up. Okay, one, the microphones outside, for our newbies. You've got to hold the thing down and keep the press held. You've got to hold it like a second before you start speaking.
Preemptively.
Yeah, preemptively speak, press it. And it's gotta be red, because it will feed into, it'll feed into your microphone, right?
You can't hear it then, but Angie, mine was cutting out even when it was red.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have that problem too?
If
Laura
you-
was,
That's what we were talking about, even the slightest bit, you have to speak, and know people hate it. You have to speak directly into that microphone, and you need to speak up. please. Because this evening, I will say, it was hard for me sometimes to hear or to know who was making motions. So I know if I'm having that difficulty, people on Zoom and people in the audience are as
I
well.
heard it cutting out at the
But,
end too.
but if the microphone is, right here, and even if you're talking down here, it doesn't pick it up. If you move your head a little bit, it's not picking it up. You need to speak directly and try not to move your head best as you can. That's my only suggestion that I know.
These are new microphones, and we switched to the push to talk to eliminate the open mic situation when you're recording on Zoom. Somebody having a sidebar conversation and overhearing something the public may not have wanted to hear. Is the bottom line. So we made sure the microphones were very direct for that reason. And so nobody winds up on a YouTube star. An initial knee-jerk comment to the person next to you.
You'll get used to it. But you gotta keep it held down. Okay, so there's that, and then, I wanna bring up Elon. Because of registration, I talked about my 2 emails from him now.
Yeah.
So Elon, for anybody, for newcomers, the Allegheny League of Municipalities, it is basically like any municipality in Allegheny County, including the city, I think also, but definitely all suburbs. So if you're an elected official, municipal employee, manager, etc. Solicitor too. It is the annual conference that they hold in Seven Springs. It's always the weekend after Easter, I think. So this year is like April 9th through the 12th. Yeah, so I know NA spring break is that week also.
Bring the kids.
So some people have brought their, there are some council members that have brought their kids too. But I've gone every year. Lori's gone twice now, right? But there is a lot of value in this because you do network with other officials in the area, to kind of see what's happening there. We have a lot of contact, he's there every year also, his firm is also. But you learn about a lot of things like the tree ordinance thing that happened over there east of here, Indiana's Township or whatnot. They explained how they got it through and what their results are. There's a development happening and they're getting residuals from that now. So it'll give us some ideas or whatnot, and it'll also give you a flavor of how other municipalities are operating. Things in the South Hills are way different than up here in the North Hills. But the conversations are interesting.
No problem that doesn't exist somewhere else.
Everyone has a problem.
It's always nice to see how they address them so that you can learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. They have it every year annually, but this is like their big spring conference. It does go from Thursday to Sunday, but I will tell you Saturday this afternoon it starts really emptying out. Even before the slow service station, which Max has presented a few times. Yeah, Friday morning is always legislative panels, so our state rep, state senator, whoever covers the Allegheny County, they usually have a panel. Saturday morning is the county executive, just those are some of the things that they have. They have vendors, there's a vendor hall, so our engineering firms are there. You'll find some interesting conversations, like Laura and I had dinner with an engineering firm, they just happened to be sitting there and they were telling us about how to help us reduce the speed limit. So we had some interesting ideas. One of them decide, or people have to decide, or is there other
The thing I always say is the sooner the better.
I can actually be one of them.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that too.
The lodge will fill up, and if the lodge is full, then they bump you up to, what are they,
Condos or whatever.
condos?
Sounds fun.
Townhouses, I mean, that wasn't right though, they'll bump you up there, so what I always say is. The earlier you can let me know, and I need to know, what day you're arriving, what day you're checking out. I will take care and make the conference registrations, make the hotel reservations, so.
Okay. And, yeah, you definitely want to stay at the lodge and not like up on the hill, because it is a shuttle take to go back and forth, and yeah,
We had 1 year,
it's not fun.
we did have, because people didn't tell us soon enough that they wanted to go, and so. That's why I say, if you can, I would make the decision in the next week or so, that we can get the reservations made if you would like to go.
Yeah, it's a 70-minute drive through Mountain, so if you just wanted to go up and you didn't want to go the previous night, don't go anymore. It's all responsibility. So,
Friday morning, up and back.
and we're, at Photos, we're a banner community, so we should get a discount for
We get one for you.
one free question. Okay, yeah, so encourage you to go, if you can. Yeah, that's all I had, so should we do executive session?
Sure.